What up? What up? What up? Welcome back to the Scorecard with my man Randy Els. What up? What up? How you feeling?
What up? What up?
All right. Let's get right into it. The controversial scorecard fight from yesterday in the UK. Josh Taylor versus Mr. Catterall. I don't know what his first name is. That's not much of a
Jack
um,
Catterall.
Jack Catterall who came out of nowhere, a tough fighter, but was a big underdog. Um, so starting with the official scorecards, um, the official scorecards were 113, 112 for Catterall, 114, 111 for Taylor, and 113 to 112 for Taylor. Um, a lot of people, most people are thinking that should not have went that way. A lot of people are saying that Catterall should have won it, but that's why we have this scorecard to talk about your official scorecard and your educated opinion. So, Randy, you go ahead first. Give your scorecard, and then
Well, yeah, my scorecard was pretty much my scorecard. Where I had Catterall winning 114, 111. I like I said. Also, I made a comment. Also, I watched it off Sky Sports, the Sky Sports Network,
yeah,
um, which showed no biasness. It seemed like the way ESPN Top Rank does with Andre Ward, whatever you want to call it. Um,
yeah.
I
A lot of
I
people were going crazy on Andre Ward's scorecard. But anyways, go
yeah.
ahead, continue. My bad for cutting you.
So like I when I started watching it, and I wanted to make sure that I also actually after the first round, like I was impressed with definitely Catterall after the first round. This first round, he um he came on strong the first round. Um, but I wasn't after the first round I did, which I did give to Catterall. What threw me off was when the announcer said something along the lines, Catterall clearly won that round. After I heard that, I didn't want to be influenced on anything else just in case. I turned the volume down.
Yeah, yeah,
I like I said, I thought Catterall won the fight. I definitely Taylor picked it up later on, which he also acknowledged. I'm watching a pre-fight interview, whatever it may be, or the post-fight, whatever it may be, and
yeah.
Taylor himself even said himself, I started late, I was behind early. Like he even admitted that himself, um, that he was behind, and it took him a while to
To pick
get
up his
into a
pace and
groove, whatever it may
mhm.
be. So to have Andre Ward scorecard having Taylor win 3 out of the first 4 rounds, to me is just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous to me. And like I like everybody all over the Twitter world, everybody all over is pretty much saying the same thing. Like that, like Andre Ward is sometimes shows favoritism or just a little bit biased because of the top ranked guys that are with him. I feel, and that's exactly what happened in his scorecard.
I hear you. I hear you. My specific scorecard, people were going off on me. I actually had it 114 to 112 for Taylor. I had, I always talk about this app. These guys need to thank us because I bring these guys up every single episode. This app here, which Randy put me on to, JudgePad. There's the place where you can click. There's a button that you can press for if you think it's a close round, and you can write little notes in between. But the other best thing about this, at the end of the fight, you can click it, and it'll give you a breakdown and everything. So specifically, I had 5 close rounds. Um, 3 of the close rounds I gave to Taylor. 2 of them I gave to Catterall. Now, if I would have gave all the close rounds, it gives you the breakdown. Like, if I would have gave all the close rounds to Catterall, um, he would have won 115, 111. Um, so and that's what I mean, man. And to be honest with you, I know people are crazy. You talked about the first award gave Taylor 3 of the first 4 rounds. Be honest with you, so did I. But I marked it. The second round was close. Just going through my notes here. Yeah, they were close rounds. I didn't write any notes for the first 3 rounds, but I did mark the second round as close. So yeah, man, and
So
round
altogether, what I'm saying is that you must have gave Catterall only 4 rounds.
1, 2. Yeah.
How did he definitely won more than 4 rounds.
Just I don't know. I didn't think that I just thought they were close. I didn't think like he'd landed as much. I thought they were both doing their thing. Taylor, we were expecting Taylor to blow this guy out the water. And
I'm confused. What do you mean? I'm confused when you say you didn't think he'd land as much. Well, I'm confused by that. What do you mean by that?
No. What I'm saying is Catterall, he did not land as much. Do we have the punch count?
He landed. Numbers? Catterall outlanded him in every round, except 1 round.
Yeah, as far as the punch count, but it's also the effectiveness of the punch. Again, it's not clear. I'm not saying like Taylor clearly won those rounds. I just thought they were close. I just thought Taylor still did enough to win some of those close rounds. But I could definitely see it going the other way too.
Yeah, well, that's like I said. That's probably where. That's definitely where we differ. Like I said, like I said, I think the majority. I think Ward's card, like like I said, that to me is ridiculous. But but me personally, like I said, Ward. I mean, no, Taylor even himself said himself, he was behind in the early rounds. Like even himself, he said that. So that's where I'm confused at.
Yeah, he picked. He knew he had to. He picked it up. I don't know if he
definitely had to pick it up. He was outlanded he was outlanded in every round. He was outlanded, like I think it was ridiculous. And it was ridiculous. He only landed 6 punches, I think, in the last 2 rounds.
Taylor?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, and remember round 11. I don't know. That was a quick when first of all, we got to talk about that referee too. I had Taylor winning that round. I mean, round 11, but he got that point taken away, so it had to be a 9-9 round.
I gave that a 9-9 round as well.
Yeah, because I don't know. I didn't think he needed to take a point away from that. Round 8 is when Taylor got knocked down. So obviously that was a 10-8 round for Catterall.
Right.
Cleared. What were you gonna say? Something about that?
No, I'm gonna agree with that. 10-8 round. I gave 10-8 round 2. The same thing for Catterall in round 8. The 9-9 round and 11. But at the same time, for him to say Catterall only won 4 rounds, 3 rounds outside of the 10-8 round, like no, I'm just not in agreement with that at all.
No, I hear you. I'm definitely in the one of the only ones that I've seen with that scorecard. So I guess I'll have to go back and look at that again and see what the hell I was seeing. Because
like I was saying, I was watching the interview. I was watching the Josh Taylor interview, and even Ben Davidson even told him in the 12th round, you gotta get a knockout to win. That's what Davidson told him. Now maybe he just said that, David, you're gonna have to get a knockout to win this fight. He said he felt like then it's something, but maybe he changed it. I just told him that I thought he was behind. He told him that going into the 12th round, he didn't knock out to win.
If the coach
Taylor
tells you
himself,
that, then if the coach tells you that, then it's really close, and you don't want to tell your fighter that he's losing, but like you got to tell him like, yo, you better pick it up. So for Ben Davidson to say that, then he
then Taylor himself, like I said, I'm also just going back from Taylor's own words, basically. Yeah, I started off slow, I gave him the early rounds. I started off slow. I picked it up late. That's him even admitting that. So
no, but he
so
said
to
he clearly
award him.
thought he won the fight, though. He clearly didn't just think, right?
Definitely he's going to say that. I mean, but at the same time, he thought he thought he won the fight only because he felt he picked it up later on, not because he won early rounds.
Yeah, but
that's what came out of his words himself. He said, I lost those early rounds. That in itself.
When you say early rounds, it could mean 2 or 3, not exactly 6.
No, he said he picked it up at the fifth round. That's what he said.
At the 5th round, okay, so he won by 1 point.
The 4th and 5th round, I felt I picked it up. He said, but I was losing them. I was losing them. So even with that logic, the first 2 to 3 rounds could have been, you know what I mean? But I gave Catterall definitely the round 1. I think Andre Ward is probably the only one that probably, I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm definitely not in agreement. Going into round 9, it was even. I definitely
going into round 9.
I was not in agreement with that. Like, Ward's getting ripped apart for his scorecard, and rightfully so, to be honest with you. I just don't see that. I don't see that whatsoever. Not at all. And the Twitter world saying the same thing. Everybody on Twitter is all over that. You even admitted yourself, not you admitted, but you said that. What did you say? Bradley was going off himself.
Yeah, Tim Bradley was going crazy about that.
Come on, man. Like, I mean, even I was on Twitter, even friends of Josh Taylor. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I was going for you, bud. You know, you lost that fight. I mean, scorecard is what it is, but that's what we're here for. But at the same time, a lot of times when these controversial scorecards are like this, me personally, I like to go with what the majority and what the fans and what they feel. You know what I mean? The same thing with the Ryder Jacobs last week or 2 weeks back. Ryder won the fight. The whole majority, Twitter world, blah blah, the majority of them, they definitely seen that as a robbery, and you're getting the same kind of feedback and outrage with this fight as well.
Yeah. This then was definitely controversial. Now what do you think would be next for both guys? Catterall has all 4 belts. That's crazy. This guy came out of nowhere and has all 4 belts. Has the undisputed Catterall, isn't he?
No, Taylor won the fight.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Wow.
Taylor won the fight.
I mean, what I was thinking is the rematch, because he doesn't have to rematch him. Yeah. He should, to be honest, give him a rematch before going to 147.
I believe
most likely he won't.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's gonna move up to 147 and vacate all them belts, and all them belts will be up for straps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't see him giving that rematch. I don't see him. I don't even know why he moved up to 147, because if he thinks about trying to fight Crawford at 147 the way he looked against Catterall, that's not going to go too well for him. He should stay down at 140, I think.
Keep his ass down at 140, yeah. Unless because that jump, man, some guys, they don't look like, when you move up in weight classes, you're either your skill level has to be higher, or your power has to be there.
He's not bringing no power.
Exactly, because at no point in time did he actually hurt Catterall. Well, did he? No, off the top of my head, I don't think at any point in time he actually hurt him. So yeah, if he does go to 147, he's gonna have to have some type of not a tune-up fight, but not one of the top guys, something to show that he could hang at that weight class. It's kind of like, off the top of my head, I'm just thinking about someone like Danny Garcia, who was great at 135, 140. I'm not sure if he started at 135, but at 140 he was one of the top guys pound for pound. At 147, not so much. And he's talking about doing that 154.
Yeah, Danny's thinking about moving up to 154. So I don't see that. I don't see I see. I personally like Danny Garcia beating Taylor.
Yeah, 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 yeah. How about that,
I
Danny
don't I
Garcia?
don't I don't I don't see that. I don't really see um Taylor like I said, I thought Catterall beat him, and I think that I don't think he's he if he wants to move up to maybe 140, maybe you need to avenge that and look more impressively and try to
Move up to 147, you mean?
if he wants to move up to 147, maybe he needs to fight Catterall one more time just to maybe even try to prove to himself that, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
because that was not impressive at all. And the majority feel Catterall won, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They do, they do. All right, moving on. Let's talk about Gary Russell. I'm not sure what number he is. There's like 5 brothers, all named Gary Russell. He's the third.
Gary Antoine Russell.
Which one? What number is he? The third one? Anyways, doesn't even
I'm
matter.
not sure in what order. He could probably be the middle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's the power one. How about we get ranked them by their
Oh
main
yeah, that's
skill?
hands down.
He's the power one. 14-0. Last night he fought Victor Postal, a veteran, good boxer, veteran. Gary Antoine Russell. Going into this fight, he was 14-0 with 14 knockouts. Went the distance. This fight ended in a stoppage too, so he kept the streak going. And you guys all know me; I'm all about safety first. But I believe that was an early stoppage. What do you think about that one, Randy?
Well, I'm right along with you. We both were watching at the same time, and yeah, that was an early stoppage. I just feel like I thought with 20 with 30 seconds left, 29 seconds left in the 12th round.
Mm.
I just don't believe that you should do that. Postal was highly upset. You don't want to have that. You don't want to be. Nobody wants to be knocked out, and he was not in no shape hurt.
Not at all, man. Not at all.
He was still engaging. Um, that was just a terrible stoppage, and I just feel like that ref in that fight was just maybe trying to have that knockout streak for Russell to continue.
Mm-hmm.
The referee also in the Taylor Catterall fight was notoriously bad. Like the referees yesterday, just a couple of them just was not really a
a
fan
lot
of
of them.
yesterday.
They want to be on. They know they're on TV. They want to make sure that they get their little quick couple minutes of fame.
We're not here to watch you, referee. We're here to watch the fighters.
Exactly. They want to stay on TV for a couple of minutes just to talk. They're the one guy. Anyway, somebody. What was your scorecard for that one though? I'm trying to. I can't find the official scorecard for the actual fight. I have my scorecard on my phone here. I'm going to pull it up. But talk about your scorecard while I look for the official one.
My scorecard for that Russell fight.
10 rounds. It was a 10-round fight.
Yeah, I had Russell. I had Russell going into the last round. I had Russell up 87-84.
Going into the last round, I had it 86-85 for Russell.
Okay.
86.
We're only a point off.
Yeah. I gave Russell rounds 1, 3, and then the rest of the fight after that.
I gave Postal rounds 2, 5, 6. I gave Postal rounds 2, 5, and 6.
I gave him those numbers. I gave him. You said 2, 5, and 6. I gave him round 4, 2, but I marked it as a close round. I had 1, 2, 3 close rounds marked, and yeah, I had 3 close rounds marked.
I had 2 close rounds marked,
and 2 of them I gave to Postal. Pardon me.
Round 2 and round 6, I had 2 close rounds.
Yeah.
Either way, we're still pretty much in agreement with Russell. Being only 1 point off is not that bad compared to a 3 or 4 point difference. Like, whoa, like that's a That's a
Yeah.
big difference there. But being 1 point off, 2 points off, not too much of a not too much of a shock there.
What do you think about the performance? I actually I think this was a good step up fight for Mr. Russell. This is his first time. Well, he basically went the distance. The fight stopped, like, ended in the last minute of the last round. So he basically went the distance. His first time going the distance. Yeah, man, I just think he got hit just a little bit more than for my liking. But Postal is good, man. He knows how to use his long reach. He was keeping him
Step
that
up in
way.
competition will do that, though.
You mentioned I really like how you mentioned the uppercuts and those right hands that Postal was landing, specifically the uppercuts. You mentioned how Russell ducks his head a lot when he comes forward, and it was open for that uppercut, and then Postal actually started to. That's the punch that he started to land.
I said that the very first round.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I think it was maybe around round 4 or 5 when he actually threw it. I damn near jumped out of my seat.
Yes. Yeah.
You got to keep that coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Postal was doing doing a great job by punching through the guard as well. Like,
Yeah.
Russell had his hands out, like, spread out. Power shots. He looked great in his power shots. He just put everything into them.
You can hear, like, remember, like, you can hear his punches, even when Postal was blocking them. Like, you can hear the thud on the punches when from Russell's power.
Yeah.
So that was the difference. So that's as a boxer, when you're facing someone that's with that serious power like that, your skills have to be on point. If Postal, even though he's tall and long, he didn't use his jab as effectively as he could have. Even against a southpaw, you can still use your jab in a kind of a different way.
I felt he should have used his right hand more.
Yes, yeah. Picked it up earlier.
Calling for that right upper. I was calling for that right uppercut, the uppercut since round 1, but he could have still, at least, regardless of whether the uppercut, you're fighting a southpaw, you're orthodox, throw that right hand right down the middle. When he threw it, good things were happening.
He started to do that a little bit too late. It's almost like, and understandably so. Understandably so. He's fighting a guy who has 100% knockout ratio. So you can understand why he was just a little bit hesitant at first. But that's what that long jab is for. That's what we always talk about using that. If he had used that long, educated jab in the earlier rounds as a measuring stick, that right hand, he could have fired. Postal could have fired that right hand a lot more.
Right.
So he started a bit late. You can see the skills there, but Russell, that power, man, you could see why he was at 100% knockout ratio.
Yeah, definitely.
That was that 140.
Somebody to watch for at 140 for sure.
That's what I was about to say. What weight class? That's 140.
That was 140.
Okay. What do you think's next for Mr. Russell?
Well, all belts, it's open. Josh Taylor has all the belts, so pretty soon that 140 division is about to be wide open. If Josh Taylor decides to vacate all the belts, all of them belts will have different mandatories and different rankings organizations. So pretty soon that 140 division is about to open up crazily. If Taylor moves up to 47, of course.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting. I don't know why I keep thinking why a perfect fight would be Danny Garcia versus Josh Taylor. Both of them
Garcia, I think Garcia is too big for Taylor. Especially with him talking about moving to 54. Garcia's been talking about moving to 54 for maybe a year and a half now.
Yeah. That's true.
They were supposed to they were thinking he was trying to get a fight with Harrison.
With Tony Harrison?
They were talking about it when he was first bringing up the idea of moving to 54. I'm not saying they have contractual send anything along them lines. I just know that was a name that Garcia brought up if he moved to 54.
Yeah, man, that's gonna be interesting, man. All right, just on the, I mean, we're still talking about Russell and them, but I was just thinking who. We'll go back to Taylor at the end of the show just to round back. Who do you think would be a good matchup next for Russell? Now I know he's not. Taylor hasn't officially moved up. Well, he is going to actually. We might as well just count it as him moving up right now. So that thing's gonna be vacant. So what do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna fight for. They can't fight for all 4 vacant belts. Are they gonna be all separate? Like you got to win them one at a time again?
Yeah. When the belts are, you know how it goes. When all the belts separated.
Okay.
They got different rankings in all the organizations. You know how that goes. We were just talking about the WBC rankings at 168. Why is Lemieux ranked number 2 behind Benavidez? Doesn't make no sense. The different organizations have different rankings. So the top 2 people in each of those specific rankings, whatever it may be, and will fight for they'll fight for the top 2 contenders, whatever you want to say. They will fight for that vacant belt if they become vacant if Taylor moves up.
And that whole mix is going to be interesting with all the guys at 135 from Teofimo definitely going to be moving up to 140. A bunch of those guys at 135 going to be moving up to 140. So, and that's probably going to give them a little bit more incentive to move up to 140, knowing that the person, Josh Taylor, someone who is a high risk but low reward as far as money at the whatever pay-per-view or whatever, is not there anymore. Might give them a little bit more incentive to move up to 140.
You got Jose Ramirez, you got Pedraza, you got there's a lot of good fights there's a lot of good names at 40.
Timeout. Ramirez and Pedraza are fighting next week, right?
I'm sorry?
Ramirez and you just mentioned Ramirez and Pedraza. They're fighting next week, aren't they?
Right.
Oh yeah.
140 pounders. You got Paul Grant 140. You got Ivan Baranchuk, whatever. These guys, the guys that were champions in the 140 tournament.
Regis Prograis. I forgot about him.
Of names at 140 that fights could be made.
Yeah. Regis Prograis. I forgot about him. Yeah, Ramirez, Baranchuk. Wow. Yeah. There's they're deep. Them little those
140's deep.
Yeah. Definitely.
You got the 35s moving up. You got Lopez moving up to 40. I mean, 130 with the 135 and 140. Them divisions 130, 135, 140. Those are great top to bottom.
Yeah.
Not just top heavy.
Yeah, not just top heavy. They're deep divisions. Moving on to
I'm having a hard time with this volume. I can hardly hear you.
Let me turn my up. Mine's up all the way. I'll talk a little bit louder. The last one to go through, Chris Colbert and Hector Garcia. Another upset. This guy Hector Garcia took the fight on 2.5 weeks notice. This is why I'm telling you have to stay in unless you're a name like one of the top guys, Canelo, one of these guys that no one's gonna just surprise you and call you on a couple weeks notice, right? If you're one of the top guys, if you're not not in the top 10, you need to be in shape all the time. You need to be ready all the time, working on your skills. You don't have to be in tip-top shape. Like you don't have to, run. Your body still needs the rest. You don't have to go hard every single day, 7 days a week. But you still need to keep your skills up top and keep yourself in somewhat not fight shape, but good shape at least for situations like this. This guy Hector Garcia. this guy Hector Garcia. I off the top of my head, I don't remember seeing him fight before. I recognize the name, but I don't remember seeing him fight before. Have you seen him fight?
Upcoming guy, an upcoming guy, 30. They're all upcoming. They're trying to make a name, trying to, you know what I mean, blah blah. So Colbert's not there himself. He was supposed to be fighting for a title. Was it against? I forget who was supposed to be fighting. That didn't pan out. Garcia was a late replacement. Hungry, undefeated himself. Like I said, I watched the press conference, whatever leading up to it. I wasn't a fan of how Colbert was, the disrespect towards his opponent. I'm a big fan of respecting your opponent, not trying to. I mean, I know you got to sell fights. I get that. There's still a way you can be professional about it at the same time too. Mm-hmm. And when that fight was going on, remember I said the same thing. Round one, I said, look, this guy might upset him, man. You know what I mean? I was going for him. You know what I mean? I said, this guy,
you did.
You know, I said, this guy's gonna upset him or get to me, and it went just like that. He was too cocky. Didn't felt he was giving him his due respect. And when you do that, it can come back and bite you.
Pull up your scorecard while I talk about mine real quick. This is what I mean. We're playing at the scorecard. It wasn't even close. I had it 117 to 110 for Hector Garcia. I had
it 109 for Garcia.
118, 109. Yeah, even wider. I had 5 close rounds. I gave 3 close rounds to. Do you know where to find that part where it says the close rounds? The at the bottom.
I had
left.
3 close rounds.
3 close rounds. I gave 3 close rounds to Colbert and 2 to Garcia. But it was still 117 to 110.
With that wide margin.
Pardon me?
With that wide margin, you know, whether it be 117, 110 on your scorecard, 118, 109, it was wide scores. He was a clear winner. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was there was no controversy here.
Yeah, no controversy there. Like the controversies of when them scorecards are tight, the 115, 113s, the 114, 113, then 1 or 2 point scorecards, and then when you get the twirled and an uproar, those are the scorecards you want to compare.
Yeah, and it's funny how you mentioned the trash talking. Like that's why, just me personally, like when I was competing, I was never into the trash talking, because I always thought to myself, like, it's all good to trash talk, but if you lose, you're just gonna look stupid for all the shit that you were saying before and not able to back it up, right? And
you see how the Twitter world
right, like sometimes it's okay, you know, you can talk a little something just to let people know that you're serious and not playing around, but there's no need to be disrespectful.
Yeah, and, man. Like I mean, like if you want to build the fight up, and each fighter wants to build the fight up. You know what I mean? You're not going in there like, you know, trying to prove, you know, somebody ain't no hoe. I mean, I get that, but you're in the fight game. You're both in the ring, so I'm just always big on just respecting your opponent at the same time too. When Colbert just dismissed him like that, and you know, this guy's got a family and himself, you know, he got a family and people that are riding behind him too. Like just be more respectful at times to what I like. I you know what I mean, I'm more into.
100%.
And I felt that, and with him doing that, I was going for the underdog because of that.
Yeah. I hear you. So what is next for both guys now? This was at 130.
That fight was at 130.
So this, I think Chris Colbert, he was kind of in that same situation with Josh Taylor, as what I mean is, like, they were both already kind of looking past this fight and already thinking about what they were going to do next and who they were going to fight next, what was going to happen. And obviously you don't just want to live day by day. You do want to plan for the future, but you can't overlook today.
I can understand Josh Taylor. I can understand maybe Josh Taylor a little bit overlooking, because he has a champion. He has all the belts. Colbert is trying to get there. So you to be sharp and be hungry at all times. You don't have the
That's the
luxury to be
difference.
overlooking somebody when you're not even a unified champion or don't even have a belt.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, that's the difference. That's the difference. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, Taylor, he had a right. He had a right to kind of feel like that, being the
Yeah, he has a
undisputed.
right to talk shit.
Yeah, he earned it.
Colbert, he doesn't even have that strap yet. He's not even considered the best at 130. Shakur is. You know what I mean? He hasn't got a belt. Taylor is widely regarded as the Ring Magazine top dog at 140. So in that position, you can sometimes overlook somebody just because of you're the top dog. Colbert is nowhere near that top dog status in his weight division. So for him to overlook and be cocky and this and that was a bad look. For him to overlook, no, you haven't earned anything to overlook anybody yet. You're trying to get there.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think of it that way. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. That works. All right. So so now what's next for both guys at 130?
For
Start with
Colbert?
Colbert first.
Well, he wants a rematch. There's no need for Garcia to give him that rematch. We had no belts in the line. There's nothing. I beat you fair and square. I want to move up and go for a shot myself. There's no need for me to go back down.
Peace. I'm on the bigger and better things. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out of here. You know what I mean? Deuces. I'm out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Colbert, he's got to regroup.
Yeah, definitely needs to regroup. Maybe chill on the talking, focus more on the fighting. And he needs to like come back with either some good knockouts or just some spectacular performances.
He has no pop. He has no pop in his punches. And when you get further up in 130, you're going to need some pop. You're fighting Shakur Stevenson or the Burchelts, the Valdezes, those guys that are in that 130 where you're trying to beat. You better have some serious pop to at least wake them up or give them something to think about. And he doesn't have that whatsoever.
Yeah, you're right. He's gonna have to sit down more on his punches because I don't know.
Or does he make 26? I don't know.
Yeah, that would be a weight thing, depending how disciplined he is with his
exactly.
food to get
because
down.
He doesn't have the power. He's not carrying no power up in 130.
No, definitely not. Because even in the later rounds when he was clearly losing, like he was still kind of he was in the later rounds, he was still fighting as if he was winning, like backing up and just kind of popping,
popping pop shots.
Yeah. If you're losing, like you have to have he didn't have a plan B. He didn't have a plan B.
A sense of urgency.
You got to be able to adjust because normally he fights like that and just outboxes guys. If he doesn't stop them, he'll just outbox you by pop. But when plan A is not working, you got to adjust and go to plan B or C. It didn't look like he had a plan B or C. All right.
Just right. He's overlooking him, had his own style. This is what I'm going to do. He didn't make, you know what I mean? Didn't take in consideration. Wait a minute. This is what I want to do. But if this fighter doesn't allow me to do this,
and one concerning thing, you can pull it up again too. That's why I don't like watching fight with too many people, because I like to hear what's the coaches are saying in between rounds and stuff like that. They showed a couple of clips of Colbert's coach talking to him in between rounds, especially in the later rounds, and I didn't really see a sense of they did give him a sense of urgency, but they should have been more on him. And a questionable,
more adamant.
Yes, exactly. And a questionable thing I seen from Colbert, like going into the last round, he gave his coach a hug and said, "I'm sorry." Like he was already like conceding. Yeah, he gave him a hug and said, "I'm sorry." Like
defeated himself.
Yeah.
First, I'm going all out right now.
Yes. Yeah. Like it's already. Yeah, the fight wasn't over, but in his head, he already knew he lost. Like he already like checked out.
He gave up.
Yeah.
Checked out, tapped out.
Basically, yeah.
Fight these last 3 minutes and get this check, and then let me get up out of here.
Get my check. I'm going home.
I'm out of here, man. Let me get this check. Let me just bounce.
Yeah. There you have it. We covered 3 fights. Any other comments you want to talk about? Any of those fights?
No, I pretty much got into everything. Like I said,
And
the Gary Antoine Russell fight was pretty much standard. He won the fight. There's no controversy there. The only controversy is that they shouldn't have stopped it. I felt bad for Postal them stopping it.
yeah,
That was a terrible stoppage. That's not right.
And again, you guys know
Colbert
I'm all
fight.
about safety first, but that wasn't an early stoppage. He wasn't.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. We of course we want to protect the fighters' safety, but
Yeah,
he was not damaging whatsoever,
no.
and he could have still stand up and lasted them last 30 seconds, and be and at least lose with dignity on his feet or on, you know what I mean? Like, but don't do that to him. You know what I mean? I didn't agree with that.
Yeah. And again, another reason why I love this show, the Scorecard, and I appreciate your boxing knowledge because you're one of the only people that actually challenge me, and I appreciate that. Make me have to think and go back specifically with what we talked about today, Taylor and Catterall. Whatever, I could admit, if I'm wrong, you were watching the fight. I could go back and say, all right, I must have, if everyone's looking at it this way, I must have missed. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Like I'm saying, I just believe that I just believe that they might have to take Andre Ward off them scorecards and make Bradley the scorecard or something. And not trying to rip on Ward. Like, we all have highly respect for Ward, Hall of Famer. Like, he's just terrible doing scorecards is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? He's terrible at the scorecards. Or more or less, I just feel like he was definitely in favor, kind of in a way, of his fellow ESPN top ranked guy with Taylor. You know what I mean? And I understand it's a friend, but you got to have a little bit of objectivity as well, which will show you're credible with fans watching it. You know what I mean? Now, from here on in, everybody's got this label of Ward. Oh, he can't score a fight. So now every scorecard he does from here on in will have some question mark. You get my point? I mean, like, you want to still be credible at least too.
Yeah. I hear you. What do we have next week? What are we scoring next week?
Well, next week's definitely the Ramirez and Pedraza.
Yes. Okay.
Can't think of anything offhand. Anything else? But definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, there's a card today going on.
Today.
Yeah,
Lawrence Oakley today.
Yeah. That's starts at 2
o'clock.
That
may be a tough fight for him.
Who is it again? Anyways, I don't know the guy, but I know it's a step up in competition. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough fight. The guy, I forget it offhand, but I do remember looking into it. I'm not really familiar with the UK fighters as much, but I really I want to get into it more to learn more about them, and so paying attention, especially with the Zone Network and their UK fan base. But looking into that fight, this guy's supposed to be somebody who's slick himself. You know what I mean? The opponent. So,
and
Okoye's seeing this fight.
He's still at cruiserweight, right? He's not officially at heavyweight yet, right?
No, he's at cruiserweight. He's talking about going to heavyweight, but like maybe you should just wrap up the.
You need to clean out your division. Clean out your division first before you start.
Yeah.
Do what Usyk did.
I don't think you're ready for
clear out your division before moving up. Right. All right, Randy. Thank you very much for joining me for the scorecard. Appreciate the boxing knowledge, and we will be back next week. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, tell everyone about it, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.